Hey everybody, Kimberly Christine here, and you are officially in my crypt, a new crypt. I want to talk a little bit today about the Serger. Yes, a very intimidating piece of sewing equipment, but it is amazing what it can do. You always need this as a number 2 to your regular machine. If you're just starting out, of course, having a normal machine, but if you want to just step it up a little bit, step it up a little bitch. Anyway, so the Serger is great if you're doing a lot of stretch material, or you want to clean up some edges. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm doing right now. I have a lot of old sheets. This is my massage space that I'm in. So a lot of times my sheets start to kind of get old and thin. And what I do is the fitted sheets, with the stretchy, when the elastic starts to go, usually they get torn up sooner than the regular top sheet. So what I do is I cut the entire area of the elastic off. They call it kind of the binding, right? It's the fold over the fold, and then, the stretchy stuff is in between that binding. So I cut the entire binding off. I turned it into my hot stone sheet. So then I can put the fitted sheet, which is now kind of like a top sheet, but it's smaller. When I put the hot stones on my clients, I take the sheet and I put it over it. It's just to kind of contain and keep the warmth in when the stones are hanging out on the body. So basically, you have these rough edges. Now the sheets are washed and everything has been cut, but look at how rough that is. It looks terrible. Even if I were to sew it and then sew it again, I just don't like having that messy in there. And it's always nice just to create this, right? So if some of you don't want to create a binding and you just want to, and this can be for anything, for shirt, for towels, for whatever you have that you sew, you can just take that and fold it over and just stitch it right there, and there's your hem. If you want to do a little extra fold, you have to make sure you have enough, what they call it, seam allowance, to be able to do that. So this is just kind of an easy, cheap way if you're not doing anything exorbitant, but it's wonderful. And that's what I'm going to do with this top sheet now. I'm just going to take it and fold it over once and do my final stitch. I don't know, maybe I'll do it twice, but it just kind of cleans up all that extra frayed stuff that's there, and it smooths it out is what it does. Since I'm talking about it, right? I have a stretchy shirt on, right? And that's exactly how this inside seam is. It's with the Serger. See? You can see that edge, that rough edge. It's just stitched straight. There, they flip it over and they do a double stitch. You can kind of see what it looks like. So one thing to think about when you're doing this is you got to be a good driver, right? You got to pay attention to feeding it through. Never take the fabric and pull the fabric. The feed dog from the machine will push it through. So you're just guiding it. If you take your eyes off it for a minute, it literally is like you're driving and texting, right? That 1 second and the fabric could go all over the place and you screwed up. So always pay attention, right? Just like keep your eyes on the road. So here's a different angle, and this is the cutting blade angle. So this is all of the fray that is getting cut from the blade. You see all of that tangled mess here getting cut off. See, eyes off the road there just for a second. And always pull it through, pull it through, pull it through. Keep it going until you get that long cord. And then, boop. Awesome. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of grab you here and point you over to this piece of equipment. Now, I know it's intimidating. I have 3 spools right now. The only time you should really see is there's a 4th spool missing right there. Let's try to get this. So the 4th is really when you're doing knits. If you're doing knits, if you're doing stretchy fabric and material, it's great to have that extra spool of thread in there for that support and for that stretch. Repairs, the Serger is going to be your friend. But I know a lot of you look at it and you're like, oh my God, what's that thing? There's like a blade there that cuts and all those. And then you kind of come into here and you're like, oh my God, look it's confusing. There's 4 strings on there and I need to wind it in the serger, but don't fret. Once you start doing it and you continue to do it, you are going to be a pro. So what I have here, it's a Singer ultra lock is what they call it, or a baby lock. They can get pretty pricey. Sergers are almost maybe double the price of a normal machine. So that being said, you know, once you make that investment, you're in, baby. I've had this, gosh, I've probably had this one for about 10 years, right? It's done its job. And just when I think it's shit and it's going to go to poop, it's still there. I have yet to even replace the blade in it for as often as I have serged. So that blade just keeps cutting and it's nice and sharp. You just, you know, the things to keep in mind, you gotta clean it out. Yeah, and it can be confusing as far as the stitching. You get a manual, and the manuals are going to be your best friend until you figure it out. But sometimes you always have it on the same setting because you sew a lot of things, and that's usually how it works for you. So you really don't have to play around with it so much. Anyway, that is really all I had to say. This is about the serger and this extra little wonderful piece of equipment that is going to be your number two guy, right? It's your co-pilot for your designing and your sewing. All right, that's all I have to tell you and show a little. I'm ready to go and enjoy the rest of my night because it's been a crazy week after Halloween, and I'm just trying to get caught up. So now I can start on my sewing projects, and I'm excited because there's a lot of really cool new designs that I'm going to be coming out with. All right. Holy cow, 8 minutes. All right. Sorry to keep you guys. Have a great day, and sew on. Or so what? So what? I don't know. So many people have that name. So what? So what designs? All right. I wanted it, but it was taken. Okay. Anyway. This is the Stitch Witcher saying peace out and within, my friends. You have a lovely evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.